Good day, teachers. I am Alner Z. Dumagco. Together with my group mates, Majin Panugaling and Kern Daryl Ponce, we are from the Bachelor of Physical Education. Today, we're all about to discuss our title proposal. Our title number 1 is all about physical activities and physical health status of the BPA students in UMTC. So why we come up with this kind of title or study? We come up with this study is because it is related to our course. At the same time, we would like to do research about how physical activities affects the physical health status of the BPA students because most of the time, BPA students are engaging various physical activities. In our statement of the problem, particularly in the global issues, according to Al-Haza HM 2004, in Saudi Arabia, physical inactivity is a public health issue. Saudi Arabia's recent economic development spurt implies that the country now confronts difficulties in combating chronic health issues associated with food, sedentary lifestyles, and other behavioral changes. To improve cardiovascular and muscular fitness, bone health, and depression, the World Health Organization people aged 18 to 64 should do at least 150 minutes of moderate to intensity cardio per week or a mix of acceptable and intense exercise according to the current recommendation. In the global issue, stated the effect of the physical inactivity to the health behavior of the individual in Saudi Arabia. Thus, physical activities gives an impact to improve and overcome those health problems and promote healthy lifestyle of those individuals. For the national issue, according to Pituk and Kagas 2019, in the Philippines, particularly in Metro Manila, the university students have a poor understanding of physical activity levels and fitness. According to a recent study on global trends in insufficient physical activity, almost 40% of Filipinos are insufficiently active. Given the physical inactivity is a recognized risk factor for many chronic illnesses, these figures are worrisome. In this national issue stated, it emphasized the lack of physical activities of those students in Metro Manila. Also, with that improper lifestyle, it took them to affect their health behaviors because of not engaging physical activities. For our local setting, particularly in the University of Mindanao Tagum College, according to my observation, some students have difficulty engaging in physical exercise, which result in harmful impact on their physical health. Some students are not active for such activity since they feel tired, particularly if they have following class sessions. Therefore, they do not frequently participate in some physical fitness sessions. Also, some are doing improper healthy lifestyle like eating unhealthy foods without engaging physical activities. As a result of the absence of physical activity, their physical health suffers and they become physically inactive. For our objective of the study, the main concern of this study is to determine the relationship between physical activities and physical health status of the BPA students in UMTC. This study is aimed to seek the answer for the following question. Number 1. To determine the level of physical activities in terms of aerobics, weight training, dancing, and self-defense class. Number 2. To determine the level of physical health status of the students in terms of autonomy, competence, and relatedness. Number 3. Is there a significant relationship between the physical activities and physical health status among BPA students? For our research gap, it helps us to address the physical inactive of the students in UMTC that affects their physical health status. This research gap still has a limited information, needs a further research, thus the needs to conduct this established. The reason why we prompt to propose this research because we want to remove and solve the problem of physical inactive because it affects the health status of every student, especially their physical health status. By the help of our study, we want to give conclusion about the effects of physical activities to the physical health status of students that somehow give encouragement to pursue doing physical activities. This will also benefits the students, teachers, community in solving this research problem. For our theoretical lens, this study is anchored on the study of two theories which are self-efficacy theory and self-determination theory. According to Duncan et al. 2000, The theory of self-efficacy utilizes a range of health and physical activity concepts such as weight loss and exercise. Self-efficacy affects people objectives that generally believe their ability to persevere in the face of adversity and their ability to deal with setbacks and stress. According to the authors, self-efficacy for physical activity walking and identified adherence and dropouts in physical activity therapies are already anticipating. Additionally, self-efficacy will vary along with the aspect of size, intensity, and flexibility. The writers included several activities that are popular high school students, including aerobics, weight training, dancing, and self-defense classes. On the other hand, as per self-determination theory provided by Deci and Ryan 2008, some people engage in regular physical activity merely for the pleasure of doing so. Others seem to exercise to get internal or extrinsic benefits such as losing their weight, improve attractiveness, or acknowledgement from those important to them. According to several studies, those who exercise for pleasure rather than intrinsic or extrinsic incentives are more likely to stick to a specific fitness regimen. The theory of self-determination, on the other hand, has been widely applied to the study of exercise behavior in people who do not presently fulfill the current physical activity guidelines. Furthermore, the theory proposes that individuals have three basic psychological needs: autonomy, competence, and relatedness. Autonomy refers to being the perceived origin of source of one's own behavior. Competence refers to feeling effective in one's ongoing interaction with a social environment and experiencing opportunities of fulfillment, while relatedness refers to the feeling connected to the others and to have a feeling of belongingness with the individual and the community. For our conceptual framework, explaining the concept, model shown in the schematic diagram, the upper box on the left side represents the physical activities which composes of aerobics, weight training, dancing, and self-defense class in increasing order of physical activities for physical health status. This variable shows how this physical activity affect on physical health status of BPA students as the subject of the study. In the upper right box, represent the physical health status which compose the three indicators as identified by self-determination theory, which are the autonomy, competence, and relatedness as the focus. This variable will explain on BP students' physical health status by utilizing three indicators in determining the level of influence of physical activities as part of our objectives in this study. And here are the 5 review of related literature. For our methodology, this study made us use of the quantitative, non-experimental research design utilizing correlation technique. It describes the influence between the indicators of the physical activity and physical health status of BPA students. This design adapted correlation technique to determine the influences of physical activity and physical health status of BPA students. For the research participants will be the Bachelor of Physical Education students from University of Mindanao Tagum College. For our data procedures, here are the following instructions. Number 1, seeking permission to conduct the study. Number 2, administration and retrieval of questionnaires. Number 3, checking and collating and processing of data. For ethical consideration, ethical standards and consideration were observed all throughout the study. To make sure that the study followed the necessary ethical procedures, we must consider the social value, informed consent, vulnerability of research participants, privacy and confidentiality of information, justice, transparency, qualifications of the researcher, adequacy of facilities, and community involvement. And here are the references for our study. So that's the end of our presentation for our first title. Thank you for listening and God bless.